Okay. Uh 6th of June. And for a lot of you, you'll probably be catching the news of all of where I'm at right now later. And yeah, I'm not really divulging any direct info on the particulars, but you know, we all live these kind of regular old lives where, you know, we expect to basically just get through, you know, and you know, we never really are prepared for bad news or awkward news, or you know, the whole instinct of loss. You know, we get out here and we establish these kind of personal connections with people and whatnot, and then find ourselves, you know, never really honestly, you know, bracing or preparing yourself for the news of the loss of someone that you've established a close kind of relationship with or whatnot. But when you've, you know, found yourself waking up one morning, your plans are to, you know, get out and do what you wanted to do and be productive, and all of a sudden, boom, you get this call. Hey man, you just heard the news. I hate to tell you, but so-and-so, and this just happened, and this, that, and the other. And all of a sudden, everything changes. The energy changes. You're now facing the reality that we've lost.
You want these PCDI lines to hit a tie line?
Yeah, you got to forgive me. I'm at work. And so, at my age, you know, I've realized that the older you get, the more you deal with experiencing the losses of others in and around you until it's your turn. But you know, seems like in this new generation, the older you get, the harder it feels, you know, to see the loss of such younger lives. You always expect for you to be the person who outlives a lot of others that, you know, deserve to, you know, live as long as you have, you know, and yet and so you get up, you get dressed, and you walk outside, and you take everything, your grief, your joy, your pain, everything, along with your typical already preconceived expectations of being a reasonable, you know, human, and you attempt to put on this face. You don't have to put on a smiley face or act like this, that, and the other, but you don't have to carry as much of your grief on your shoulders, because you really would rather not, because all that does is just, you know, give others the experience of forcing you to rehash a lot of the things you're still dealing with on a fresh and new. And it doesn't matter if these people are closely related to you or not. They're so closely related to you personally and those around you personally, that anytime you lose someone on your crew, somebody in the industry and of what you do, somebody that you have grown to expect and desire the possibility of them being on the calls that you do, because they are a part of what you do, and you can depend on them, you can trust them, you can deal with them and whatnot, you know, and yet, you know, what we learn in this kind of industry is that people come and go, and we establish these things or get lucky enough to hopefully establish these things with more people who come in and out of our environments as we attempt to try to, you know, grow and evolve in this universe we call the industry that we're in. And yet it never stops being painful. at any time that you get the news of a loss of, a loved one. I mean, people got work family and home family, but, when it's somebody you loved, like your own brother or son or this, that, and the other, you've established a certain kind of rapport where in out of the work format, you're more than willing to risk your life for saving theirs and vice versa. So the connection is a little bit more different than just basic la friends when, they're coworkers in this kind of an industry that we work in. And yet you never really know how much others are going through on any given point in time. You can't really stop it. You always have this feeling of you wish that you could have done something to prevent the mere fact that you're now having to deal with the loss of them, when the reality is the moment into which they found themselves in the before and after, it was beyond you. And that's what hurts the most too, because nobody wants to feel and believe that they were incapable of being able to prevent anyone from deciding, okay, this is it. And yet, you would only wish that those people would be there the same, like, when you're on your way home from work and you're tired, and you fall asleep and you kind of wished that you could have been in that car with them to wake them up so that they didn't happen to drive off the road and expire. These things happen in any other kind of, you always wish that you could have, told them or made them drink more water or, or take care of their diet or anything else when they pass. You always wish that you could have stopped them from expiring when, they overdo it and end up, you always wished a lot of things, but we have no control over those things. But dealing with them on a day-to-day, minute-to-minute thing is something that becomes most important to prepare yourself for, because, outside of a little dirt and water, we're all miracles. And yet, this recent season lifetime becomes more important at times when you feel that there's a grief and loss, and yet understanding that the blessing that you can most indulge in at that time is thank yous for at least being that valid in the experiences that you've shared, enough that they're worth believing and hoping that, if nothing else, that they are resting in peace and paradise, and that they're not forgotten and they're missed. And yet, take with that this sense of possibility of allowing them to still exist on a day-to-day basis at times when you'd want to feel that way, and they slap you in the head and go, hey, yo, man, even though I'm not here, what would you do if I was here right now and telling your ass, stop being a pussy? Yeah. It's not an easy thing to do as you watch people pass. Learn of it, and the struggle of the loss, becomes harder to relinquish when the ability to bask in what was, what is, of them is more important to exist, right now, because I see the smile. I hear the jokes. I'm grateful for the experience that brought us together, caused us to become closer of comrades or whatnot. And yet, try to keep that above the fact that, from henceforth now on, every time you get up, every breath you take, every step you make, the only thing there'll be is watching you. And with that, I'm sending all of you positive energy and light, and hopes that we can all get through these things a lot better.